Start streaming. I believe we have started. Don't see anything here yet. Oh, okay, now I see something there. Okay. Now where's that chat function? Everyone's gonna be talking to me. Okay. Well, actually, the last couple last week I didn't have a stream at all. I had technical difficulties. I did not have a preview stream. I did have the later stream where I actually reacted to the next episode. And I just realized that past Dittman made a mistake. Hang on. I need to undo all this until I can see. Can I undo far enough? Last week I did not get to talk about episode 7, and I was just about to talk about episode 8, forgetting that I need to talk about episode 7. Well, if I have time at the end, I'll try to do that. But let's just paste that and start. Okay, what was I going to say before that? I do have one announcement for anybody watching, and that announcement is, obviously, as a stat rat, I'm quite interested in numbers. I'm not usually interested in, say, hang on, is that right? Everything's off today. I'm not usually interested in streaming statistics. I'm interested in the task statistics, but I did look at some streaming statistics, and I found I have 96 subscribers right now, which is kind of cool. Like, if I were close to a milestone or something, then maybe I'd do some sort of giveaway or something, but I won't do a giveaway. Because I can't think of any important number that's close to 96 or close after 96, but whatever. Anyway, that's just a number, and we are going to talk about Taskmaster now, and we are going to talk about Series 21, Episode 8, and then in a few minutes we're going to go watch the 9th episode. Okay. Scrolling down. Yes, and I'm separating these so we only see one at a time. The very first task. The prize task. An ordinary household item object with the most personality. I really liked this one, actually. You know what? I really liked... I was going to say I really liked last week's episode, but I've already thought of a couple things that I don't like. But, I mean, overall, yes, it's Taskmaster, it's great. But the prize task, I think I made one mistake here. Past Dittman made a mistake. Present Dittman doesn't make mistakes. But Joel maybe should have gotten more points for this. Because I was thinking his wine screw definitely did have personality. The way I scored this, I'm going to zoom down. I scored it separately. I remember last year, well, yeah, technically last year, Series 20, there was a task where they scored it twice based on how disgusting something sounded and then how nice it actually was. And then they multiplied the scores. And that's what I did here. So I got 2 times 4 was the second best score out of all of these. So Amy got 4. But the more I think about it, I really loved Joel's wine corkscrew. I think I gave it a 1 in personality just based on looks. But really, it should probably be 2 or 3. And he should probably have like 4 points totals. But that didn't happen. I don't know. Everyone did a good job, I think, about giving their, well, everyone except Joanna, about giving their item more personality than it just would have based on looking at it. That brings us to the next task, which is the weird task. Censor yourself unnecessarily. Okay. Greg, what did you do? You gave everyone 5 points for this. Wow. Did I not? Okay, yeah, that's fine. This was a really hard task to score, but Greg just phones it in sometimes. He doesn't try to solve the difficult tasks. I think I can. Yes. Okay. This is the place I'm meant to be. Okay. I don't know. I'm tired tonight, but let's keep going. I did agree that Amy should have won that one. What she did, it worked. All right. A story and censoring certain words to make it sound worse than it actually was, or make it sound actually like something totally different from what it was, like an adult story instead of a kid's story. And it was really well written, so I think she deserved the 5 points. But after that, I gave Armando 3. I actually really liked Armando's. His E-I-E-I-O thing, the old McDonald, Donald. That was like, I imagined him at home doing that in front of his grandkids. And that would be amazing. The grandkids would absolutely love that. They would think it's the funniest thing ever. And I guess I'm still kind of like a kid with my sense of humor sometimes. I loved it. I thought, yeah, it was unnecessary censorship, and it was unnecessary that he was doing his own censoring. I loved everything about it. Actually, I'm surprised I didn't give him 4 points. I gave it to Joanna for some reason. But I think the other 3, Joanna, Joel, and Kumail, they all did something that technically didn't have to be censored, but also technically I didn't want to see it. So those feel like that feels like a really weird overlap of, if I don't want to see it, maybe it should be censored anyway. So yeah, none of them except Joanna for some reason got a good score. I guess with Joanna, maybe I was basing it on that intriguing idea, the most intriguing censorship wins. And it was just baffling what she was doing, so baffling in that sense means intriguing. Anyway. Yeah. Okay, I'll just keep going. The next 2 tasks, I don't have very much to say that I didn't say in the original video. This was the blindfold task in the courtyard. Take photos of Alex, who was wearing a bunch of bells. Kumail had the right idea there, and he had the right idea in 2 different ways. First of all, he had the right idea to step back and get a wild field of vision. That's the first thing I thought you should need to do. So, great job there. And then he also had the idea to play dirty by saying he had a medical emergency. That was good. That was fun to watch. And then we get to Don't Look Away. Oh yeah, those, I got the same points. I gave out the same points that Greg did for that one. Then Don't Look Away. from the task. Put 9 nuts or nails in the nappy. Again, most of this I've already said. I said last week after watching the episode, but I noticed that nobody tried to move the task at all. I'm wondering if they were told they couldn't do that, because they were using that like eye tracking camera mechanism machine intelligence thing to do that, and maybe they were told that they couldn't mess with it. That's the first thought I had, is I would move the task around to wherever I'm looking, or maybe just cover it with my face and then just do it blind. I don't know. But that wasn't the best idea. But my best idea is nails. And I thought about it about halfway through the task. So I think if I was doing the task, I probably would have figured it out like at 3 or 4 nuts or nails. I probably would have been thinking at around that point, what other kind of nuts are there? What other kind of nails are there? And I've got fingernails. Everyone has them, and everyone should have at least 9. So I was shocked that Amy found the nails on the baby and was trying to take them off. Like, you've got them, and they don't need to be off. I would just put 9 in a nappy, like take my thumb out of there and go 9 nails. That is absolutely the move. And I feel like a genius for thinking of that while all of those idiots over in Britain didn't. So yeah, I'm pretty smart. Okay. But the place I might have faltered, though, was I don't know what a nappy is. So that would have been difficult for me. But anyway, also Joel can't read the word 9 for some reason. Alrighty. Alright. Let me get a drink real quick. Now, the title I gave for this episode was Let's Squeak Joust, based on the final task. But I couldn't avoid that title. I thought it was too good. Excuse me. But none of them seemed to know how to squeak. They all sounded like large vehicles backing up, which is the opposite direction they were actually going, which is very confusing. So if anybody was trying to avoid them, they would have had a very hard time, because they would have assumed they were backing up, but they weren't. And yeah, I think they should redo that after learning how to squeak. I could have given them all 0 points for that, because none of them squeaked. Actually, I could watch it again, because I know some of them were better than others, and I can't think right now who exactly that was, that it was who was better than the others. I can't remember, but I just gave them points on how many rounds were won by each team, which ended up basically the same as what Greg did. He just gave them an extra point because he likes 5 points for the top. Okay. And then obfuscation. My extra points round. I usually give an extra point for the title, which in this case, I think this is the first time I've done it where Greg said the title. I usually make it where one of the contestants has to say it. So in that case, I can give them a point in obfuscation. But this time, I can't remember what they were. I remember Amy's. I had ideas for titles. Amy's was Creepy Creepy Bellman, and then Joel had something too. I don't recall. But I decided to just give them both of them title points, even though they didn't make the title. But yeah, like I said, I couldn't resist Squeak Joust. That just sounds great. I'm surprised that I haven't seen other rats playing it. Okay, well now... Oh, and there's the final scores. We'll see that in a moment. Aha, yes. Titman's scores. 20, 18, 14, 11, 11. My scores were a little bit more spread out than Greg's scores, but I don't really have much to say there. And episode scores, we had the same winner. Not much to say there, but what about the series scores? Okay, in my series, Amy has just taken over Kumail as the leader, which I kind of didn't see coming, but I mean, after the last episode with her getting 20 and Kumail getting 11, that's a 9-point difference. But they are very close together, 127 and 125. Joanna is 11 points behind, which is like just close enough that it's possible for her to catch up and to win within 2 episodes. I think it's just at the brink. Well, and we'll know at the end of this episode. Well, we'll be able to decide, is it still possible or not? And something similar is happening with Greg's version, with the UK scores. 3 of them are very close together. And then Armando is 11 points behind, just like Joanna was 11 points behind. But I don't think Armando can win. The thing is, he has had some like really outstanding episodes. I don't know. He could have another really good episode. I'm just thinking there's 3 people ahead of him that he needs to catch up. So he needs all 3 of them to do poorly. Joanna only needs 2 people to do poorly, which still I think is unlikely. I think we have a 2-way race here between Amy and Kumail. And then Greg's race, the UK race, also has Joanna in it. Alrighty. And if you look at the differences, Kumail is no longer Greg's least favorite, or my favorite, depending on how you read these differences. So this is how many more points Greg has given to the contestants than I have. And there often is one person who is wildly out of sync with everybody else, and this time it's Joanna, and kind of Armando. I really like Armando, actually. I've said this since the beginning. He's one of my favorites, but he is not doing great on points. Oh yeah, and we do have a race toward the bottom. 112 versus 106. We've got a race to the bottom in my series. We really only have one person. There's a 13-point gap between Joel and Armando. But I really think Joel is going to be last. I don't think there's a race towards the bottom there. It's decided. But what was I going to say here? Yeah, for most of this, Kumail has been the one that Greg has favored least compared to my favoritism. And finally, that has kind of evened out, and that's why Amy is winning. She has 2 more points here versus 1 fewer point there. Okay. Do I have other stuff to talk about? Yes, I do. Fantasy Taskmaster. How did I do this week? Well, okay, so there's been a few weeks where I didn't submit. There was 1 week where I submitted, but I didn't take it for some reason. And then there were more weeks that I didn't submit. So, yeah, it's... I had a good run. And I did submit this week. I don't know how it's turned out yet. But... And this is the best run I've had. There were a couple other times where I've, like, joined in on the 3rd episode or something, and I did, like, 2 episodes, and then I stopped. But I'm definitely gonna try to get Fantasy Taskmaster going for real next series. Because I was not doing bad. This one was weird. Episode 2, I guessed the winner of the episode and got all the other questions wrong. So I got the best question right, which was worth 4 points, but everything else I got wrong. Yeah. The only other thing about Fantasy Taskmaster is, at the very beginning, you get to choose who you think is going to win. And if you don't change that guess for the whole 10 episodes, and you're correct, you get 10 points. But you're allowed to change it every episode, but you get 1 fewer points per episode. So now if I changed it, I think I'd only get 2 points. Well, now the deadline's passed, so I'd have to do it next time, in which case I'd get 1 point for guessing next time. But after the first 3 episodes, I was going for Kumail, and I still want him to win. But man, he did not have a good start to this series. We can see 41-58 there. I mean, he was doing the best of the men, but I was really surprised when he practically caught up. Like, by episode 6, they're only 7 behind us. Like, how the heck did that happen? And he is totally within winning distance now. So I changed after the 3rd episode, and I changed to Joanna. And I want 7 points, so I'm going to keep Joanna. I'm not going to change to Kumail for 1 or 2 points now, even though I want Kumail to win. I did say I think he's going to win this episode. So maybe I'll get points there. I don't know. But also I have so many zeros here that it doesn't matter. Okay. Your points. Any of you listening? In just a couple minutes. Yeah, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about before I go to the next thing. Yeah. Whoever wins this, all of my extra obfuscation points get to go to my viewers. And whoever wins this tight race here is going to join me in episode 10. So really, I shouldn't even have this column, because it's going to be decided tonight, within the next hour or so. And if you want to know who wins versus the rat and the squirrel, well, you can find out within an hour over on Patreon.com/ratofalltrades. There is a link in the description, and I'm going to start that stream in 5 minutes. Alrighty. Let me save this. I just need to flip around some software stuff, and then I will see you over on Patreon. And we will watch the next episode.